some of the other things. And on the other side, where there's full sun, you see a pollinator sort of area with bee balm and some skullcap coming up. The wild blue indigo is finished now. In the back, in another month, these plants will be dwarfed by the Joe Pye that's coming up now. And that'll take this garden to a whole nother place. In the front, this edge has some muley grass that's rather new, but it's going to really fill this in, and it's just fabulous in the winter. I love that texture. And there's a whole host of plants in here. And this garden here, as well as the woodland, other than the woodies, is designed to be mowed once a year. And that's how we maintain this garden. It's hard to believe this, and I've had lots of folks come here and not believe it at the beginning of spring, that this is what it's going to be. But we mow this down in, sometimes I leave it up just for habitat, but generally we'll mow this down, chop it all up, leave it there. Same thing in the woodland. All of those plants, we come and we mow down. And the reason is I'm still trying to build that soil. And also, because it's in the front of my house, I want to help my neighbors read this as a garden. And so if I keep that sort of more tailored look, they understand it and are open to it. And then we come around the corner, I have this fabulous, well, I may be using that word too often, but look at the 9-bark. I mean, how often do you get to go out and see the straight species of 9-bark? And you can see how it just turns into this vase. I think there are 3 in here, and the flowers, that lovely dusky pink, they're creamy in the spring, and then dusky pink at this time of year, and then they'll go to that lovely tawny brown. Now, you know, I'm here working on this garden a lot, but this is a plant really you probably want to put on an edge of a woodland or something that's a little bit wilder, doesn't need the same level of care, because it's obviously a prolific seeder. Lots of seeds here. But there's so many birds in this little thicket here now that we've grown. It's really fantastic. It's just a completely different environment than if you looked at this, right? This grass, this turf, which is what this place was. So in this turf, would I have any amphibians? No. Would I have any birds? Not often. And all the other animals that come and enjoy this? No, I wouldn't. So now I do. And here, I think, is a good lesson in texture. So I'm going from some hazelnut into some forbs, up into the 9-bark, and then you come over and you see the darker red bud here and those leaves that are floating above the wild blue indigo. And then over to the side, you just start to see that lighter dogwood. That's what I think I know I'm trying to achieve in many of the landscapes I design and implement, is this sort of layering of texture and opportunity for nature to thrive.
Okay, I'm going to stop you now and ask you, there are Japanese beetles.
Yes, okay.
What do you do?
Okay,
Yeah.
Good idea. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see right now, they weren't here yesterday, but they're now, and you can see the damage they're starting to give to this, to the American hazelnut here. And they'll do quite a bit of damage here. But you also see in the background, you see that shepherd's hook right there. Mm-hmm. Every year I just come out and hang a bag.
Okay.
Traps. And so we trap them, and it really
It does work.
Yeah, completely works. But you can see just in a day, they've done a lot of damage here. And this is a plant they love. For whatever reason, they love this plant. They don't touch anything else here. There's no other plant I know of that they damage like this. So as we come around the corner of this, we had, a forb garden there, the pollinator forbs, and now we're really back into a shrubbery here. In the front is our native, or eastern, I should say, Amsonia, blue star. And generally, I see a lot of the very narrow-leafed Hubrichti, I believe it is, and this is Tabor, Montana. And the native here, or closer to the native, is the eastern, and you have a wider leaf. It still gets that beautiful butter yellow in the fall. So it still has a fabulous show. Mm-hmm. It's just trying to, expand what we know about plants and that kind of material. And then here are some grasses coming up. I think that's some bottlebrush grass. And I didn't plant that there, but it likes it there, so it found its way, and here it is, and I think it's a beautiful addition. Look at that. I could not have planned that, but now I can, since I've seen it. And I come around the corner, and here is, again, the native straight species fragrant sumac. These all came from native little nurseries, and you just click this and smell it. Some people love it, some people don't, but it's very fragrant, filled with berries now. And when I planted these are getting virtually full sun versus the ones on the side by the driveway. If you plant this plant in full sun, you'll get a complete perfect dome. It just loves to grow that way. Now that I know there's 5 or 6 in here and they're a big ramble now, but you find birds darting in and out all the time. And above it is a red oak. Again, this came in here probably 15 years ago, just as a whip, a 2-year-old whip, and now I look at it. I know we all talk about how long oaks take to grow. Not that long, really, truly. And similar to the wild plant nursery, I would say my garden, Lisa likes to say, many of the plants there are in benign neglect. I would say that's what's happening with this garden now. I come and I just check on its health, help it keep going in the direction we were going, but I don't do much to this at all. On the edge here, I might come through and just softly, clean up that edge just so, I'm getting close to the street. I just want it to read as an intentional garden.